If an election was called today, in what way would you, Justin Trudeau, be vulnerable? Minister Norris came out quite candidly on the subject. I was listening to an interview on John Gormley. He said the Buckingham debacle was one of the worst decisions in Canadian Academy. A little harsh from, I mean, a minister that's handling the file?
Well, he was very, he wanted to be emphatic about the government's concern for what had happened there and the need to now have a path forward.
Do you want your minister speaking that candidly, I guess? It's a pretty bold statement.
I want us to get results.
Vladimir Tomalin was performing as a musician in Regina. Now he's back in his home country in the midst of it all. Vladimir, thanks for joining us from Kiev this morning. You just left Regina last week. Was it because of the uprising that you're talking about?
I have to ask, though, I mean, you're saying you were at the stadium. That's where a lot of the international leaders came to remember the 20 years of the genocide. I mean, as a Rwandan, is it also frustrating to see that people are there now, but they weren't there before?
Quite positive here this morning, Molly.
The big story. And Michael, can we beat you to the Trans-Canada story? That never happens. You're always our first line in business. You just supplemented what we already had to say. Awesome.
Well, I can tell you that Premier Redford of Alberta has just put out a statement, which I can tell you about in my next report.
Ooh, that is new. Look forward to that. Now, Kevin, you've done almost every coveted job in the biz, right? National anchor, political correspondent, investigative journalist, worked internationally. What is the appeal to you about this type of programming?
Some people might be looking at you this morning thinking, she's beautiful, she's successful, she's talented, but, maybe she chose that Sex and the City type lifestyle. 33 dogs seized from squalid conditions in a Calgary home yesterday are now safe at the Humane Society. Now, the ammonia from the animals' urine was so bad, responders had to wear hazmat suits. Now, yesterday, the owner of the dogs and the home, Bev Creed, told CTV News that the winter has been difficult as she struggled to care for her elderly mother with dementia. Now, a longtime dog handler, Bev Creed, said she was not really sure how many dogs she was keeping inside her bungalow. Cheryl Wallach of the Cochrane Humane Society wrote her master's thesis on the psychology of hoarding animals and says Creed's story is common among animal hoarders.
Well, the Ontario Provincial Police has removed itself from the criminal probe into Toronto Mayor Rob Ford. Newly unsealed police documents were revealed yesterday. Police were listening in to dozens of frantic phone calls between Ford's friend Alessandro Lisi and the people connected to the infamous crack video. Lisi allegedly went so far as to make death threats if the video was ever released. Ford says now that the OPP is off the case, he's been cleared. But Toronto police insist their investigation is not at all over.
We're going to drive that elbow straight back like you're trying to nail somebody in the gut.
Glad you brought me the fives this morning.
And then we're going to...
How do you look exactly the same? What are the tips? Honestly, we need to know.
We're here with Premier Brad Wall, of course, here at Premier's Dinner 2013. Quite an introduction for you, Mr. Wall, tonight. Kip Simon, the owner of 22 Fresh, coming out and saying you're a beast of a premier. What do you have to say about that?
What's trending, Molly? Welcome. How's it going?
Good. I'm excited. This is my second time ever doing this segment.
Me too, because there was a tweet just sent out moments ago that was directed at you. Who is it from? Well, let's find out. What's chill, as the cool kids might say, and I'm not cool, so I don't even know if that's a thing they say.
Chillax is what they say.
Say.
Carrie Smith chillaxing out in Craven this morning. Good morning, Carrie.
So today we're putting our fridges through basic training.
Basic training boot camp, here we come.
Here it is.
Okay.
So let's start off.
Well, guess what today is?
My birthday.
No.
No, you're right.
I don't think so.
That's
Is
true.
it? National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day.
Which is glorious, and we have none in the newsroom right now, so if you're out there and you're thinking, hey, it's 6:15, we should probably make some cookies, feel free to bring them on out.
That's right. It does bring us our question of the day today. It's a fun one for you. We're asking you, what is your favorite cookie of all time?
At stake, a trip to the Nationals. Tonight, Molly Thomas took a trip to the U of R, where she is now. Molly.
Well, Glenn, it's a pivotal practice for the Cougars today. A last chance to iron out any plays or problems. Now, this team is undefeated, had a 20-0 record. That is the best in Cougar history. But at the end of the day, we're in playoffs now, so it all comes down to tip-off tomorrow.
The leading lady, of course, Carly Rae Jepsen, right behind us. We're just waiting to see if we can pull her in for an interview.
Yeah, and if you're not aware, last night she actually took home Pop Album of the Year.
This is just a preview of the flash mob fun that's coming down to Relay for Life this year. First time ever. These are
Ashley, Brooke, Anessa, and Brittany. They are 4 of 50 Dance Plus dancers that are going to be down here leading the troops. Of course, this is a big surprise. This is the first year ever that this is going to take place. So behind me, there's going to be bleachers of survivors, cancer survivors that are going to be watching this for the first time. It's going to be fantastic, booming music. You're going to want to come down and be a part of this. They're hoping for 1,000 people down here doing this. So hopefully we get some great video. We can show you that on Monday.
It was a smoky wake-up call for residents in downtown Moose Jaw. Even hours after fire crews doused down this building, bright orange flames were still creeping out the windows.
Oh my God. I just looked at it and I was just sick. There was black smoke pouring out of there. There was gray smoke and it was just coming out in curls.
This was the roof early this morning, completely engulfed in flame. Officials say they responded to a call for an alley fire. They were surprised to find a blaze inside as well. They evacuated the 8 suites immediately. The main floor was an antique shop, not open for the day.
The attached buildings there are businesses as well, and they were vacant at that time. There isn't a further apartment building attached as well further down the street. Those were all evacuated.
No injuries have been reported, and so far no one has filed a missing persons report.
Fire officials say the wind really worked in their favor today. As you can see, that smoke is moving towards the southeast. That's away from the apartment building on the other side, away from businesses on that strip, and moving towards the industrial area of town.
Officials can't outline a cause yet, though many people in town have formed opinions.
It's also kind of suspicious because it's near the multiplex here, and they're trying to look for parking lots and that.
It was a beautiful heritage building. He never had the heritage designation on it because he wanted to fix it up. But he could have had the heritage designation on it. It had been the Mason and Riche piano building. So it's a sturdy building. It was meant to hold pianos.
Not sturdy enough to handle this blaze that caused a roof to cave in and floors to fall. Fire and police continue to investigate. Molly Thomas, CBC News, Moose Jaw.
We continue our special in Haiti today with a closer look at one Saskatchewan woman's philanthropy.
Beyond a reunion with a man she calls her son, Jane Ekong also gets a first-hand look at what Haiti looks like in 2014. The comforts of Canadian investment can sometimes give you an impractical view of this country. It's what's outside the walls of the Love Haiti mission that will truly open your eyes.
So no electricity?
No.
Is this normal for a lot of places here?
Mm-hmm.
In another neighborhood, this house stands out. A concrete investment of $7,500 makes Jane a hero in this community.
I feel good. That's my mother's house. Okay. And that house, it's much better than the one I had before.
The rubble in the road speaks for itself. Before the earthquake, Haiti was the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. 4 years later, not much has changed.
We are in Obui. It's one of the poorest areas of Léogâne. As you can see, extreme poverty. To put it in perspective, the majority of Haitians are living under US $2 a day. In extreme poverty cases, people are living on less than $1 a day.
Let's talk about your family.
Yes.
You're married to a staff sergeant.
Yes.
So also in the RCMP.
Yeah.
Who outranks who? Can I ask that question?
I outrank him. Yes.
How does that work? I mean, who's the boss at home? Do you feel that pressure to dress a certain way, be a certain way, because you are the leader of the opposition's wife?
Well, I don't wear my grubbiest pants to the co-op when I go for groceries, so.
That's changed.
No,
Did you always dream or think that you would be married to such a leader?
No. No, I just thought I'd have a normal life with a normal husband and normal kids and go through life. Yeah, so this is a little different.
You talked about that first lady position. I mean, in your eyes, in your mind, what does that mean?
You talked about racism. I think a lot of people, especially if you're not from a minority here in Canada, you don't think it exists.
Growing up with racism in Saskatchewan and Regina is just it's daily to this day.
Has anyone surprised you, Jacqueline, though, on the flip side of that? Of maybe you thought they would be coming at you maybe harsher and they completely surprised you or apologized?
I've never been apologized to for racism or discrimination.
And how do you keep the man that
can actually ask the Prime Minister of Canada to sit down in the House. How do you keep that man in line?